get emotional, but as Bo's counselor, working with him one-on-one, within group, get really close to these guys, and so even when they graduate, sometimes there's some sadness with that. But Bo was already used to getting at 5 a.m. So like he said in his testimony, so get up at 5 a.m. and then do the military aspect, and Jim mentioned kind of these different three parts and how some guys gravitate to one. Bo actually genuinely was determined in all three of them, and I think that's something determination really describes Bo. He's a determined person. Whenever he put his mind to something, even if it was breaking the rules or doing something maybe not he shouldn't be doing, he was determined to do it. And he was determined in the PT. When he came the first time and left, he came back and he was determined that he was going to come and put his all into the physical training part of the military and wake up and do the march and do the cadences, perfect the facial movements. When he came to biblical, that was probably one of the aspects that was hard for him to kind of learn, just because of in terms of finding his faith. And he had told me that he really liked Pastor Dan, one of the pastors that comes here in the middle of the week after lunch. And I had taken him for an individual session during Pastor Dan's one of his Bible studies. So I decided, okay, let me just give this spot to Bo and not take him out. And then in clinical, he was all in, even if it meant getting into it with other clients about different things. In our individual sessions, we would go at it, not like physically, of course, or anything like that, but just getting deeper and trying to dig at the things that were behind it. One of the things that was unique with Bo was his journey in finding Christ. And for me, what's been a blessing is, I did seminary and I'm trained clinically and all that stuff. So I welcome my clients to kind of bring that into the therapy sessions. It doesn't have to be, restrictive to mental health and all that. And so he would come in and he would have questions and we would talk. And Bo he approached it from a different way. He didn't kind of come in and say like, oh, who is Christ? He came on like, who isn't Christ? And so he actually started, I don't know if y'all remember, like he had this phase where he was just reading books about Islam.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And I remember just like walking up to him in class and I'm like, dude, what are you reading? Like, where'd you get these books? He's like, oh, I just want to find out. I'm like, all right. So then, he knew that my parents immigrated from Egypt, which is a predominantly Islamic country, and my parents immigrated because of Christian persecution that happens there. And so he had asked me questions and stuff like that. And in the beginning, he tried testing me. I think he was trying to test me about like how real I would be with him, and he'd be like, what does the word Islam mean? I'm like, and I gave him the PC, the politically correct, it means peace. He's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, damn. I have to give him the real answer. I'm like, it means to surrender. And he's like, yeah. And then from there, like we were exploring that aspect of his faith and how different things kind of came up in his life that impacted that, and how he found Christ. And Bo was really smart. Kind of Mike mentioned, a number of clients have mentioned. Very smart, and was able to kind of come to some realizations that he hadn't before, because this wasn't his first rodeo at recovery. But one of the things that comforts me and Bo is that he's a very honest person, and in the sense of when he said something and he meant it, he would be there in that sense of that honesty. So I believe when he said that he found Christ, I don't believe he was just saying it just for just for the sake of it. And so that's what comforts me, in that Bo is now in God's fatherly bosom. So I thank you for allowing us to have Bo during this time, and for me, even as a counselor, to learn. I definitely think it's a two-way street in counseling. It's not this a one-way street of, as a counselor is doing something to the client. Right? And I learned from Bo, I learned the importance of, a person feeling like he belongs. And that's what y'all did, right? In this community here, he felt that belonging, that Madeline felt loved and appreciated. And that's one of the hardest things about this disease of addiction is that the root and fuel of it is shame. And when he came here, all of us collectively, especially you guys for sure, helped with that part. And that was something that I saw Bo work through. Definitely a pleasure and blessing for me to work with him. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Tony.